Know the drill. I'm just going to check a few things. So, welcome to Wednesday Night Live at 5. Real quick, this is your 1 to 2 minute warning that I am going to check that the live is up and working on both Facebook and YouTube. So, go grab your favorite drink before we get started. So, I am just going to refresh these real quick and check that I am live and I don't have my headphones plugged in tonight, so it might be loud for a second before we get started. Okay, so I am live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. Let me just check on YouTube. Sorry, today was an interesting day. Excuse me, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I am live on Facebook. Okay. And YouTube's asking me about moderators, and I don't have moderators right now because I just don't. Haha. All right. So, hi, how are you? I am Heidi. I am a work at home handmade business owner at HeidiMind.com, as well as a homeschool mom of teenage girls. And I'm going to have to change that. I know my friend Sarah does a little different intro than I do, but it is similar. So I may copy a little bit of what she does. um, I go live here on Facebook and YouTube on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. During the live, I share things about my business, homeschooling, and our personal lives. Be sure to follow on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube to get notifications when I post or go live, and feel free to hit like or the thumbs up button as this helps more people just like you see the videos and come hang out. If you are joining me live today, please comment with hashtag live, or if you are watching on the recording, go ahead and comment with hashtag replay. This helps me know when people are watching and if I need to change up my times or my days. And if you haven't already subscribed to the email list, please be sure to check the pinned post for the link, and you can get updates about new products, blog posts, sales, any other fun things going on, and you also get a 20% off discount code. Um, I think I skipped saying that for a while because my website was kind of down for about a year. So that's that. Yeah, so yesterday, Tuesdays are busy days for us. The kids have their, I have a chip in my nail, so it's going to bother me. The kids have their tutoring in the morning, and then Sam goes to her on-site classes for most of the day. And then yesterday, we also had an advisor meeting because we work with a charter school. So um, I think it's supposed to be like every 20 school days we meet with an advisor. It's basically once a month, and we just go over the things that we have done in our homeschool day, month, whatever. Um, like I write down a little summary, we show some samples, and the advisors are amazing because they're there to help with whatever I need help with or whatever the kids need help with. Um, so we had that. Um, and then it was also Valentine's Day. So we get home early afternoon and there's a notice on my door. And I'm like, what is the notice all about? And my yard is already starting to grow a little over. So I know I need to get out there and I need to get it taken care of. And I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm going to do it because I'm a big girl. But that's not what the notice is for, thankfully. Sort of. So I got this notice sometime between 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday saying that there will be a water shutoff in our neighborhood for the 15th today. sometime between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. And I'm thinking, if I had a 9 to 5 job and I had to go to work, I wouldn't be getting this until, if I worked till 5, essentially I wouldn't get it until at least 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. Um, I mean, I guess if you're not home all day, it doesn't really matter if you don't have water between 7 and 5 because you're probably gone during that time. But if you're at home, like what if you had today off and it was your laundry day and you're like, I can't do it. So yeah. So that's been a little annoying. Um, I don't, and they don't tell you when the water gets shut off and they don't tell you when the water comes back on. So I know that the water went off sometime between 9:30 and 10 this morning because I was doing hand wash dishes. I didn't want to run the dishwasher or the washing machine. I looked that way because that's where my washing machine is. Um, I obviously didn't want to do those because I didn't want there to not be water in the middle of it. But I figured I could just do hand wash until the water shuts off. So I knew the water shut off, no big deal, whatever. And then an hour or so later, I go in to do something and the water's still sputtering. Okay, fine. I think at one point I went to the bathroom and I forgot and I flushed the toilet and it makes this horrible sound because there's now air in the pipes. Um, yeah, so we've been dealing with that all day. That I don't know if they kept turning it off and turning it back on, or if I just had a lot of air in the pipes because I had been using the water before they shut it off or as they shut it off. But it makes this horrible sound. And it's 5 o'clock now, so we should have our water completely back on and fantastic. But of course, then you have this whole other issue that, PG&E doesn't want you to use your power as much as possible between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. Oh, living in California is so much fun, let me tell you. So that was fun today. I hope everybody had a wonderful Valentine's Day. We kept it very simple. I have never really been somebody that does a whole lot for Valentine's Day. Um, I just never have. It's like I feel like my parents um, did little things for us, like we got little treats. Um, my maternal grandfather, he used to send us a card every year on holidays, like Valentine's Day and Easter. Well, he did a little more for Easter, but like Halloween, like holidays that you don't normally get a thing like a gift. And he would send us a little card and always had um, a brand new $5 bill in it. So that was fun growing up. I kept thinking I wanted to do that for like my niece and nephews and for my own kids, and I don't because I'm not good at it. We do have a couple of family members that are amazing, and the kids have kind of a surrogate set of grandparents that are amazing, and they usually send like for Valentine's Day. They always send a card with a $5 bill in it. So they got that yesterday, and that was nice. Um, but I didn't really do anything. I made them dinner. Like I let them pick dinner. They wanted quesadillas. I made them quesadillas, and we had um, mini chocolate lava cakes because that's what else they wanted. But that's about as far as I go. I have never seen the point in flowers. My cats try to eat flowers that are brought into our house, so that's a whole lot of work for me. I don't do balloons because, again, the cats, they like to eat either the balloon or the string that it's attached to. Um, Obviously, I am not a person that turns down chocolate. uh, I used to get chocolate covered strawberries from a local shop that some friends owned that I went to high school with, but they don't own the shop anymore. And it's not that I don't want to support local business, it's just that it's a little different situation now. Um, and I can make my own chocolate covered strawberries, to paraphrase Miley Cyrus. I don't get me started on that song. I can't get it out of my head. There are a few of them right now that I wish the TikTokers and everyone else would just move on. Um, but yeah, I've never really been into Valentine's Day, and this is the first Valentine's Day that I am single. That's a little bizarre for me to say. Um, I have not been single on Valentine's Day since the 90s. So that's a whole new thing for me, which actually segues into tonight's shirt. Um, I'm gonna fix this camera setup so that I don't have to like stand up every time I want to show you the shirt. But take me back to the 90s. I'm all about them right now. Um, Maybe a little bit trying to relive some of my youth, but uh, yeah, I had a great time in the 90s. The music was amazing in the 90s. The TV and movies were amazing. So, um, yeah, so that's, yeah. I just, I tried to introduce my kids to John Hughes films this week, last week. I guess it was over the weekend. Um, and I was like, okay, we're gonna watch a John Hughes movie because we've been watching, the kids are watching the TV show Psych with me, and it's a lot of fun. We get to look for the pineapple every week. And I absolutely love uh, Julie Hill and James Rode. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. They're hilarious. I love them. I love the chemistry between all of the actors. And of course, I love the pop culture references. And I know I've mentioned before that I pause the show so that I can explain the references to my kids. And they just got done telling me last night, stop pausing the show, Mom. We don't get it. We're not going to get it. So I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna start them out. I'm gonna show them some, you know, pop culture that they can take with them. Like, yeah, I probably should have started with Goonies. My kids have never seen Goonies. It's so sad. Um, so I thought, well, let's watch John Hughes. Like, give me a good Molly Ringwald movie and I'm set for like a month. So I looked up John Hughes and his movies and what the oldest movie was. And he's got a few like shows and movies that I had never really heard of. And I wasn't particularly interested in. And but 16 Candles was like I think his first like official like Brat Pack kind of thing. Um, and Anthony Michael Hall, come on, he's adorable. So I go, and I mean it's got a lot of names that maybe weren't names at the time but are now. So I put it on, and then I realized like I give, but my youngest didn't want to watch. My oldest was like okay, and I said, just to let you know, in the 80s, we like these movies gave us a very unrealistic expectation for a romance. So there's going to be some inappropriate stuff in this movie, but you're basically a teenager, and and you've heard worse. And then I realized that the lead character's name is Samantha, and that is also her name, so I thought that was hilarious. And I don't know, we got like 15, 20 minutes into the movie, and she was just not, I don't know. I don't know if we were having like a girl month thing, or like if she was just feeling especially emotional, or if it was just a rough day that day. I don't know. But we ended up turning the movie off because she was not enjoying it. There was something that wasn't quite working for her. So I think we'll come back to them, but maybe I'll start with something more like Goonies, um, and those things. So if you have a 80s, 90s, because really those are 80s movies, not 90s like my shirt, but I digress. Yeah, so if you have like classic films that you loved when you were a early teenager from the 80s, 90s. Put those in the comment because I am going to start with her and my other daughter because they really need to see these movies. Like the references are everywhere. Um, and I'm thinking because I need to go into my updates. Um, I know I always do updates first, and I'm kind of jumbling it around. Um, I have been recording things. I have been recording like clean with me kind of things. Um, Sometimes when I'm cooking, I do like I go ahead and set up the camera and I do cook with me. Um, I still need to do the unboxings. I just have not had a chance to do them. And then like there's the editing. The editing, I've said before, takes almost as much time as actually recording. So that's a little frustrating. So I'm trying to think of something fun that I can do and still put a little bit of content out. So give me your thoughts because obviously I am a little obsessed with pop culture and um, I like I like watching certain shows. And honestly, I like watching shows that talk about pop culture more than I like rewatching the shows that were the pop culture references. So I don't mind watching things from like the 80s and the 90s. But I find a lot more humor in things like the TV show Psych, where they make jokes about things we did or said or wore or watched back in those younger days. Um, Ironically, Psych, we were watching one night last week and they had like his reunion and they did this weird, like, I think it was like 13th year reunion instead of a 10 or a 15. Um, and I thought that was funny because in multiple ways. I graduated in 1995 and the characters in Psych also graduated high school in 1995. And I know that my class did a 10-year reunion, which I did not go to. Um, One of my really good friends, like he was one of my best friends in high school, he lived uh, basically next door to me um, as adults when like 10 years after we graduated. And so I think we all had dinner or something, or we talked about going, but we just didn't want to go. Um, but then I don't think we've ever had a reunion since. And we are coming up, we're 2 years away from our next potential reunion, and it's 30 years. Yeah. So in 2 years, it'll be 30, our 30-year reunion. So we haven't had a reunion since our 10-year reunion. So I kind of like related to that whole like weird, like pick a year and just have it because you're like not gonna have it again. So there, I don't know if it's something about like people that are our age, but I found that one really funny. So what I was thinking about doing is I know right now like a lot of podcasts and YouTube channels are being set up by celebrities and they're rewatching their episodes and sharing their thoughts and whatever. And that's great. That's super fun. Boy Meets World, some of the people from that show just did it. And I loved Boy Meets World. Um, but I'm thinking about, I watch a lot of shows. I'm a huge Gilmore Girl fan. I've watched most Gilmore Girl episodes a minimum of a dozen times each. Um, Year in the Life, the Netflix special they did for Gilmore Girls, I was not as much in love with. So I really only watched that once, I think. I might have watched it twice, but I believe I've only watched that whole Year in the Life one go through. But the actual episodes, I think they were on air for 7 years or 7 seasons. I have watched those multiple times. Um, and for a lot of them, I can even tell you like what I was doing when I was watching them. I have a hilarious story about the series finale um, because that was finished, I think, before I even had kids. So I was able to watch shows without interruptions. So that's what I'm thinking of doing is just like my own, like, if I'm already going to watch the show anyway, then I'm going to give you my thoughts and I'll do those as little videos. And I don't think I've watched a lot of Gilmore Girls in the last year. I don't know if I've actually put it on much, if all, um, which is funny to me because now I am a single parent with girls, and one of them does like to read a lot. Not as much as I like to read. Um, but yeah, so hopefully I don't raise a Rory. I don't know, she was something else. Anyways, so if you want to see me talk about TV shows that I think are hilarious, um, let me know, and then I'll do it because I'm already watching TV half the time, anyways. Um, and I know that February was going to be really a buffer month for me for putting extra recorded content onto YouTube. So this month is really kind of my practice month to see how the editing works and getting it into my schedule to be able to record what I'm doing. Um, so I'm hoping that there's a lot more consistency in March, that will not be a buffer month for me. Everybody cross your fingers. I did work on my room today, which I will talk about in the updates. And why don't we go a little backwards? Let me look at my updates and we'll go from there. So room organization. I can talk. Um, so I did get rid of the pile of shirts here, and well, and then now I've got some things hanging up here. Those used to be up on the table, so I'm moving those to a new location. I had thought that I would have room to hang things in the garage, but that's not working out as yet. So I am going to store the hang up stuff in my guest room for right now. Eventually, I think it will end up. I do have some rolling racks, so eventually those will go out to my shed in plastic bags. But right now my shed is full, so can't do that. So yeah, um, and I have a cat up there right now sleeping. She was very angry when I moved the hang up things because she's been coming in here lately. So yeah, the goal this week is to finish getting that back table cleared off because that is where my two single needle machines go, my embroidery machines. So I can start sewing again and doing some sew with me videos because I think those will be fun. And then this is my cutting table. I'm going to be cleaning up at least half of that so I can start getting photos so that I can start getting some of my stock items listed because I keep talking about that and I keep not doing it and I need to get it done. So in the next week, you will start seeing in stock items on the website. I don't want to say that a majority of those will be one-offs, but right now, not knowing, I have to say a majority of those will be one-offs. And what I mean by that is they're old stock from my previous business, which was a children's based business. It was felt dress up like masks and educational toys. And I'm not doing that anymore. So those will be like whatever's on the website. That's all there is. I'm not going to make those anymore. Not for sale. So if you want to be in the know for when those are uploaded, you have to be on the email list. I am doing my best to keep up with social media every day, doing a little bit of posting here and there, but um, I had one kid sick last week and the other one has a sore throat this week. So we're just, sometimes life is busy and I'm just getting out there what I can get out there. So this live that is consistent is the warning to everyone. If you don't want to miss it, get on the email list. Um, I try not to be too, well, I'm not spammy. I try not to send out too many emails, but I send out a Monday email that just kind of gives people my thoughts and whatever. And then I am getting back on track with getting Friday emails out, and Friday emails are really like the sale or new upload or whatever product based emails. Um, Another thing on my little list here, it is officially tax time, and I am scrambling to get everything in order. Um, so the, and I always make reference that the last year has been really difficult and weird and whatever other adjective that I think of at that moment. Um, but tax time, anything financially, when you lose a spouse, it's a whole new thing. Um, and I don't know about all the states, but I know that in California, when you're married and you lose your spouse, then you're still financially responsible for all of their debt, but for anything that they own, any of their assets, any of their incomes, like you have to really fight tooth and nail to stay on top of it. So I'm dealing with like a 401k issue that his previous employers did a termination, but they didn't talk about that he was deceased. So now there's apparently still money in the 401k that wasn't released last year. And we were due like a refund from fees from taxes from a few years ago. And because it was reported that he was deceased, they had the IRS held on to that. Um, so I had to call in, and I was on the phone for an hour with IRS because they had to manually release this payment and they couldn't do it as a direct deposit. They had to do it as a check. And then they're like, and you might have to call back in 30 days because it may not get released. So yeah, it's uh it's an experience. I would say find a professional, find someone, a CPA, talk to somebody about a trust and will, get all that stuff done as soon as you financially can, because otherwise it's not, it's kind of like a never-ending nightmare that reoccurs daily. So yeah. Um, and taxes. Like I'm okay with doing my part of it of like the numbers because I can control that. But there's so many documents coming in right now. And especially because we had work done on the house that he had signed for prior. And so like I'm trying to organize all of that. And yeah, it's a new experience. I'm getting through it, and we'll get there. Definitely get there. I have an amazing friend though that is a CPA, and she is a total blessing because she's helping me with my taxes this year to make sure that I get whatever I am supposed to be getting in my return. So there's always blessings. Uh, and I think I am going to start doing a, sorry, I got a segue, and there's no convenient way to do it. There's no good way to get out of that conversation. Um, I think I'm going to be doing a tea of the week, meaning a t-shirt of the week that I will do at a lower price than I ever do them. So this week it is going to be the shirt that I am actually wearing. There will only be 12 available at this price. Um, I will put it, let me grab the link for it real quick. And you don't have to get it in this mint color. I happen to like this mint color. Um, and that's why I put it together. I think I made myself this shirt last year for my birthday, and then I never ended up wearing it for whatever reason. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. There might be more. Usually they come in threes. So I'm going to comment. I'm going to throw a comment on Facebook with a link to the shirt. And why does it want to? Okay. And I'm just going to jump on in the chat here in YouTube, and I'm going to throw it right there. So, because for some reason it's telling me that I have to sign in to the chat on my third party app that I'm using, and I don't want to do that right now. I didn't go into the multi-stream. I don't think anybody's commented. I didn't see any comments yet. And this is a read only, so that's fine. Yeah, so that will be on sale for a week. So it will end next Tuesday night, and then um, I don't know, like I really just thought of this like today, so I had not put a whole lot of extra time into it right now. Um, it might be a shirt that I wear each Wednesday. It might be a shirt that I just kind of think is fun, and I'll put it on sale for a week. So I think I used to do that uh, previously on my website in like 2020, um, but I didn't put a limit on it. So now I'm going to be putting a limit on them because I have a certain amount of stock and I want to use the stock. Uh, and I don't know if all of the designs will be available to be purchased later because sometimes the places that I buy them from discontinue them and they don't give me a lot of warning. So this is the one for this week. On the website, it's shown in a blue color, um, and mine tonight is a mint green. But I made myself a bunch of shirts last year for my birthday uh, because I was going to, because I turned 45 last year. Um, I know some people, women especially, they want to not talk about their age. I don't really care. Like, um, it is what it is. If I drop hints all the time about how old I am, so if you wanted to do the math, you could do the math. But I'll do it for you. I'll be 46 this year. I'm thinking like my birthday's in the summer. Um, and last year we went to my uncle has a house in Santa Cruz, so we went there. And this year I'm thinking that I am gonna throw myself a sweet 16 birthday, like the 30th anniversary of my sweet 16. I think that sounds fun. Because I'm a dork. But it sounds fun to me. So that's all there is to it. Yeah. So there will be lots more shirts. And maybe I'll do a special, you know, shirt for myself that literally says 30th anniversary of my sweet 16. That would be hilarious. For homeschool updates, really the only thing I am excited about is that there is no school for 4 days. Friday is considered a holiday, and Monday is considered, well, Monday is a holiday. It's President's Day. Um, I don't remember why we get Friday as well, but I'm not going to complain about that because I don't have to drive out to the charter school. And I don't want to if I don't have to. So I was thinking about doing a garage sale, but it's supposed to rain on Friday. So it's just going to be a cleaning weekend, but I'm excited because I don't have to leave the house and it's easier for me to not spend money if I don't leave the house. Which segues into our home updates, our no spend update. I've done pretty good this month, and we're only halfway through, or I should say we're already halfway through because this is a shorter month. So really, we were halfway through yesterday. I've kept as much to our grocery budget as possible. Um, I have to do some meal prep because I've got some things that are going to go bad. So there's that. We did end up there. So I was trying not to eat fast food or takeout or whatever at all this month, and we did end up having to do that twice, 3 times. We did it 3 times already. There was one night that I was making dinner and it was just not cooking at all. The Instant Pot was just, I think I talked about it last week that maybe I talked about it somewhere. Um, it just kept giving me that burn setting, and then we even cooked it in the oven and it still wasn't good. So I don't even know. I do remember talking about that. So we did get McDonald's that night because it was late at night and I just needed to feed my kids. Um, and then this week, Sarah's here. Right? Oh my gosh. Like I have some stuff that we ordered. So she says she's struggling with her no spend because I'm doing this because she's doing this, but I'm also doing it because I need to. Um, and she says she wants to shop so bad. So we ordered some things from Hot Topic in January, with like some of our Christmas money, and we had some of their hot cash or whatever they call it, and none of it was in stock. So now things are arriving and we have to go into the store to pick it up because I didn't want to pay for shipping. Um, so then like every time I have to go into the store, like I don't want to bring the kids with me because I have to like tell them. I feel like my parents probably felt like every time we went into a store as children where they're like, we're not getting anything. It's not on our list. So yeah, so I have to go to Hot Topic to pick up two things, and I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah, so there was one night I just did not want to cook, and we got pizza. Oh, I remember what it was. So the kids have been begging me for pizza, like real pizza, not my fake pizza that I make. And our local Mountain Mike's used to have this card for, they gave it out years ago, like I don't know, 2015 or something. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And it was a 50% off purchase on Sundays. And you could only use it for, I think it was for dine in or takeout. I know it was definitely takeout. Couldn't use it on delivery. Um, they had to see the card in person, but you could get 50% off your order. And they had like other rules, like after 5 o'clock or after 4 o'clock, you couldn't order their biggest pizza. Like it was all this stuff. So I have not been able to find our 50% off card in a while, but my mom said she had one. And I'm not sure why, because she doesn't even live near the mountain bikes. And it's specifically for our brand, like our um, whatever restaurant. Like you can't use it at the one in Oakley or whatever. So my mom brought hers over and put it in a drawer. And mom, if you're watching, it gets better. So I promised the kids that on Sunday they could have pizza, and we were going to get Mountain Mike's because that's what they wanted, because we could get it for 50% off. So on Sunday, and then I remember Sunday it's the Super Bowl. So like I don't watch football, but I asked Google like where, like what time did the game start? I found out that it was like close to the end of the first quarter. So I called up because I'm like, I'm not going into a pizza parlor at halftime. I worked in a pizza parlor for a long time. You do not go into a pizza parlor at halftime on Super Bowl Sunday. You just don't. It's like it's like asking for a 45-minute delivery on Halloween. It's not going to happen. So I call up, and the first thing I do is ask them about this card because I've always wondered if they were going to stop honoring it. And it does say on the card, like, they can stop honoring it at any time. So the girl has to put me on hold. They no longer honor the card, which I had a feeling because between 2020 and the shutdowns and 2022 and the price hikes, like, yeah. Now, if it was any other month, I probably would have just ordered the pizza and been done with it. But I'm trying to not spend money. So I'm like, kids, we're not having Mountain Mike's. Also because I like Skipolini's better than Mountain Mike's. For anybody that's local, it's my 2 cents. I prefer Skipolini's. And I'm not going to drive out to there either because that would have been way more expensive. So I said, you guys have two choices. We can get Domino's or we can get Little Caesars. I prefer Domino's. They prefer Little Caesars. So we went to Little Caesars. It was still $30 for two. large pizzas, a cheese and a pepperoni, and 2 orders of crazy bread because we love crazy bread. Now, granted, that also, like, that's not just dinner, that's usually dinner and like lunch the next day because I've got one kid that likes pepperoni and one kid that likes cheese. But oh my goodness. And then and then there was one night that I just didn't want to cook. That and um they had been asking me about something and like I don't know, they were doing really good with their homework and chores. So I got Panda Express for them. That's also expensive. Um, but I like Panda, so what can you do? Um, but yeah, so that's but other than the three like food instances, I've done really good about not just buying stuff. Like I did not realize how bad I was getting with Amazon. Like, oh, Amazon. So, so other ways, yes, I've been doing good with my no spends. Um, and but the food thing, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um, we've been doing okay. Ironically, I saw all the memes yesterday about getting eggs for Valentine's Day. And I thought it was hilarious because, if people are complaining about the price of eggs. I get it. I get it. I don't eat eggs very much, so like I just laugh and whatever. But my father-in-law came over to give the girls Valentine's cards, and he has 5 chickens, and he brought me a dozen and a half eggs. So I thought that was hilarious that for Valentine's Day, I got 18 fresh chicken eggs. So that was funny. Um, but the so I'm going to be making egg bites because I keep saying I'm going to make them and then I use the instant pot for something else and then I have to clean it and then it's dinner time and it's a whole thing. So I told my youngest daughter that I will definitely be making the egg bites this week, especially because Grandpa brought us fresh eggs. Um, but the meal plan prep thing, I don't know if I'm loving it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep doing it because, like, obviously, I've already got a month's worth of meals prepped, and we're barely halfway through those because we do. It's a love, food and I have a love-hate relationship. Or I should say cooking and I, because food and I, we get along just fine. Cooking and I have a love-hate relationship. I like cooking. I like cooking. It just takes a long time and then there's a whole lot of cleanup. And so in my brain, I was telling myself that this meal prepping was going to save me money, which I haven't really seen much savings in that. Um, if anything, like I know that there are some things that I bought and didn't prep and they went bad. So like that is a whole thing with my scheduling and working on that. Um, but also even though like I just have to defrost this and throw it in a pan and cook it, like usually it's the instant pot. I don't always like the way it tastes when it comes out. Like I just kind of convinced myself that making fresh food and then freezing it and then reheating it wouldn't be the same as just reheating frozen food or cooking boxed food. Um, and there's a difference. There's definitely a difference. But I don't know. I just don't love it. I don't. Some of the recipes are just really bleh. Um, and I know with my youngest, she just doesn't like anything. Like really, she's anything I make. She's like, this doesn't taste good. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep going through March. Uh, and I'm going to. I can see my cat moving. That's funny. She's cleaning herself. Crazy cat. Um, so I'm gonna go through March because I've already got the stuff like set up to get through March. Um, so I'm gonna do that much. But then in March, I'm gonna come up with um, I don't know, some ideas. Because some of the recipes just don't resonate with like us. And like one of the recipes in this pre-planned thing that I got, um, there was like a sandwich one, and I don't know how like I don't make sandwiches as a meal. That's a lie. That's a lie. We do have nights where we have like paninis. Um, but these particular sandwiches, they were like on a Hawaiian roll, and they were basically just ham and cheese with like a sweet dressing on top. And they were good and they worked for me for lunches, but they didn't work out as dinners because my kids wouldn't eat them. Sarah says, I have a hard time with the consistency of certain frozen foods. Yeah, definitely. Depends on the meal. It really does. And what I've noticed is that when the Instant Pot can be a huge time saver. I'm not going to argue that. Sometimes I argue it because I feel like the time it takes for it to warm up and get to pressure, I could have already baked something in the oven. Um, but like what you're talking about, the consistency. Uh, so last year we had a church that donated 30 meals to us. And it's kind of like what I'm doing with this meal prep, where they donated 30 meals and we froze them. Um, and then you just defrost them and you're supposed to put them like in the slow cooker. Cool, slow cooker. I got that, no problem. But a lot of like, even though the meals were different, a lot of them tasted the same. Like, and when you put meat into the Instant Pot, it's basically you're getting shredded meat when you're done. Like, it's not like when I get a piece of chicken and I cut it and then I cook it. Um, when you put it in the Instant Pot, it cooks it in such a way that it wants to fall apart, which is great if you're making pulled pork sandwiches. But like there were some things that had meat in it, like a red meat, and you're getting basically shredded, mushy meat. Um, which isn't that's not always the business, in my opinion. So I think that's like one of the things that we're really trying to figure out because I can't think of the word I really want to use. Um, there was a there was a mushroom chicken stroganoff or chicken mushroom stroganoff. Um, I have always had stroganoff with beef. So chicken stroganoff was weird to me, like in the brain. Um, it tasted pretty good. I'm not going to deny it. It tasted good. Um, but I would rather have the beef stroganoff that I've always had. Um, so those are things that like I might look at changing. Um, and I think I don't necessarily have to have everything prepped in advance. Like I could just cook meat in advance and throw that in the freezer and have it already prepped. And then like because the stroganoff I make from scratch, I don't think I have to cook. Like I think I could just put meat in like later. Um, and I know like when I used to sell Pampered Chef, they had this whole thing once, this whole sales promo thing where they had a bunch of recipes that were make ahead meals and it's the same essential idea as meal prepping where you prep part of the food in a big batch and you section it out and freeze it and then you bring it out later. So that was a lot of like hamburger. I remember there was a lot of different hamburger recipes and I think they did a hamburger stroganoff. I don't know why everybody wants to change up the kind of meat you put in stroganoff, but y'all need to leave it alone. Um, so that's where we're at. There have been some really good recipes. That like I said, we liked the stroganoff. I just might do like my recipe. Um, there was a penne pasta that had Alfredo sauce, but then it had like other cheeses. and the recipe called for cherry tomatoes, but I put in grape tomatoes because that's what the store had. And we really liked that. That was really good. My kids love pasta and they love vegetables. Um, but yeah, so it's just trying to figure that out of like what we're really enjoying in the meals. Because I don't love having chicken every single night. Like that sounds boring to me. But if we can change it up enough, I guess it works. They don't like spicy very much, but they do like things that do have more of like um like a taco Mexican kind of flair to it. So those recipes have also been really good, like Mexican chicken and rice. Um, and like we do a broccoli chicken and rice with cheese. Um, and thankfully my kids love vegetables. So even though like there's a ton of onions in every single one of these meal prep recipes, they cook down enough that you don't notice them, but my kids like them. And bell peppers, they love bell peppers. So, but there's not a lot of other vegetables like I've noticed. There's but maybe it's a seasonal thing because these are like winter recipes. So maybe that's just what I'm looking at. And like if I was doing fall recipes, there would be more like zucchini and root vegetables. Sarah says my kids think black pepper is spicy. Mine do too. It's weird. Like they'll eat stuff like with different, yeah, yeah, spicy is out. Spicy is out, I think, for a lot of people with kids. Um, Partially because their palates are not completely developed and they probably just taste things stronger than adults do. Um, and also I think it just depends on what the parents eat. I'm not a really big like spicy food eater, but I love black pepper. Like my kids don't like it. Um, and I put black pepper on my French fries. Like somebody I worked, that was my first job was working at Burger King. Um, and one of the guys that I worked with is like, you have to try black pepper on your French fries. And I was done. I was like, black pepper on my French fries, and then a plain cheeseburger with barbecue sauce, and I'm good. I'm good. Um, so I still do that. Like we go to the kids like Wendy's, and when we go to, and I don't know, Wendy's has okay fries, but they're not McDonald's. Let's be honest. So I get like 50 packets of black pepper because they leave them out at the front, and then I just sit there and just open them and yeah, and then I have to check my teeth before we leave because yeah, it's a thing. One thing that Samantha has liked is that she has recently found out that she likes sour cream. So if it is spicy, I told her you can kind of tone it down a little with sour cream. So now, like, she has to put sour cream in everything. But it was really good. Like, we had that chicken tikka masala not too long ago that someone had gifted to us. And and I was like, isn't that spicy? But I made it because we had it and I needed to make it. And it was a little spicy, but you just get that little bit of sour cream in there and it brings it back down just enough that it's edible. So she's really liked that like we had I think we had something the other night that was had a lot of seasoning in it and I'm like you could put sour cream on it and it's good and she's like okay, so we have like this big bucket of sour cream right now. Oh, the things we do. But I have noticed like we went to I cannot remember when we went to Costco, but I know my mom had to take me because I don't have a Costco card anymore. And I got one of the rotisserie chickens. No, we have never purchased a rotisserie chicken and not used every single part of it. Like, I mean, within reason. We don't eat the bones. Um, we bring it home, I debone it, I put all the chicken in a bag, and then I throw it and there's like it's just skin and bones when I'm done. Like I get every little piece of meat out of that I can. We've always finished those. And I just found in the refrigerator that I have the bag in there still. And I'm like, I don't know if this is good anymore. So that's going to be on the list for tomorrow is a refrigerator clean out. Um, I think Sarah did one on her channel not too long ago. It's been a minute. Um, I'm so afraid to do one in a video of me cleaning my refrigerator. It's not going to be good. But maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. So yeah. So if you want to see some clean with me's that are already up, go check out my friend Sarah at Home with Sarah Jane. Um, and then, then you can come back here and hopefully I'll have some loaded to my YouTube channel and we'll keep you entertained with all of our cleaning skills. So that's about it. One thing about the meal prepping is that I did get, I know, and this is where my spending gets a little wonkadoo, is the woman that I bought the little plans from, she recommends, Sarah says with our radioactive pudding. Yeah, I might have some of that at the back of mine. I don't know. Um, and, and I'll come back to what I was gonna say in a second about bags. Um, Sarah, I believe, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, mummified a chicken for homeschooling. I don't know if I have seen if she's done a video about that, but if she hasn't, then she should. Hint, hint. And if she has, then I will find it and I'll try to come back and tag it in my video later because that intrigues me, the whole idea of mummifying a chicken. I don't know if I'm daring enough to do it, but it does intrigue me. Um, but the woman that I bought the meal planning like packages, whatever, uh, guide, that's the word, guides from. She recommends getting reusable zip top bags, and I searched around for them, and I know I talked about it before the whole, yeah, you have, the whole thing, and I really wasn't sure how I was gonna like reusable zip top bags, except that I knew they'd be thicker than just a traditional Ziploc bag, like a freezer bag. So I do have to say that those, uh, you'll have to start another one so you can film it. Better you than me. I have to say that much. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I can do it. Um, but I do like the reusable zip top bags. I do plan on getting more of those. I thought they were going to be a lot more difficult to maintain. Like, I'm not a clean freak and I'm not a germaphobe, but I worked in food service long enough to know how I want to clean things and how I need to clean them in order to feel like I'm not going to contaminate anything else. And so I was really happy with those bags. So uh, I believe they're in one of my meal prep videos, um, that there will be a link to the bags. At this point, I'm not doing any, um, whatchamacallit, affiliate links. Uh, I just don't do those as of February 15th of 2023. So if you see a video later and there's an affiliate link, I will always say that much. But as of right now, I don't do affiliate links. I, I'm clearly too scattered with everything else I'm doing to keep track of affiliate links at this time and juncture. So, yeah. Do the bags have a smell after they use them? That that freaked me out too, that they would have an odor, but no, I was very surprised. A few years ago, we bought one of those scrub daddies. I think you might have a scrub daddy. I can't remember. Um, and I never used it because I hated the way it felt. But I realized after you get it wet, they soften up, but they're still like a Brillo pad without being a Brillo pad. So I actually love the Scrub Daddy because it um, I can scrub, like I can really scrub and get into things, but it doesn't scratch anything. So I put a little bit of soap on that, and I usually what I do with these bags is I rinse them out right away with hot water. Um, and then I go in with soap and the Scrub Daddy and I just scrub every part. Like I lay it flat in my sink and I stick my hand in and I scrub all the corners and then I flip it over and I do the other side and then I rinse it out. And sometimes I'll do it a second time just because I'm OCD like that. Uh, and then um, when I dry them, because originally I was thinking that I was going to be washing these in the dishwasher. Not really sure like how I came to that thought process. But mine are in fact dishwasher safe, but that also means I mean, they're also, in addition to being dishwasher safe, they're high temperature safe. So I could use them in the microwave, or I can boil them like on the stove. Um, so I liked that because you can boil them. So you could, like, if you really wanted to like sanitize them, you could do like a pot of boiling water and stick them in there open, like after you're done washing them. And then when I bought those, I also bought, they're bag holders. I know that they're like, you can see them in my meal prep videos. Um, they're just plastic and they have arms that stand up and you can push them flat when you're not using them. But what I do is when I wash, like I usually try to wash a couple bags at a time and then I set them up and I put the bag on top of the arms. Like normally the arms kind of hold the bag, so the bag dips down like this. So I flip the bag upside down and I set it on top so that it airs out all the way. Like I have a towel. Yeah. Um, Maybe I'll do a video of how I clean the bags because I've been able to like I've reused a few of them now, and I feel like that they don't have an odor um, and I don't feel like I'm passing too many germs along. We're always passing germs along, but but I do like them. I love the fact that I can put liquids in them, and once they're sealed, like that liquid's not coming out. Um, because Ziplocs highly questionable. You could see Tarzan. So, yeah, that's my heavy bit of crazy for the day. So, I am going to go make dinner. We have something tonight that is called lazy lasagna. I think it's kind of like a lasagna soup, I think. Um, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully it's good. I don't remember what's in it. I don't remember. I don't remember anything anymore. But I think eventually I'm going to come up with my own recipes for meal prepping because then I can kind of cater it a little bit more to what the kids and I like, what we eat. And especially, we live in a still a fairly predominant farming area. Um, Ironically, with as many farms as we have in this area that do offer like you pick services, when you go to the farmers market, like none of our local farms are there. I don't know. I haven't been lately. I haven't been in quite a few months. So maybe that's changed. But the last few times that I went, it wasn't even our local farmers. So that was kind of a bummer because they charge you more for their produce because it's organic and because they drive all the way out here. And I'm like, but I could go to the local farm that's like 5 minutes any which way, and I can pick my own fruit and well, maybe not vegetables, but they do. There's a lot of you pick fruit in this area. Um, Although this is not fruit picking season. Um, but we still have local farms that have stuff open for whatever kind of produce that they're producing right now. Um, We have one. We have, when I drive to our charter school, there's still a sign up for, I think it says three pumpkins for $15. And I was laughing at the kids the last time I saw it because I'm like, you think I can still get 3 pumpkins for $15? Um, because for anyone out there, it's not pumpkin season in our county. I don't think there's anybody growing pumpkins right now. I mean, they're starting them maybe, but not growing them. So yeah, that's the thing. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a like or a thumbs up, follow or subscribe, and comment with hashtag live or hashtag replay. All of these interactions not only help to push out the videos to more people that will enjoy them, they help me know what content you are enjoying